Abdullah ibn Saba al-Ḥimyarī was a 7th-century figure in Islamic history who was often associated with a group of followers called the Saba'iyyah. Modern historians differed on the historicity of Ibn Saba. Some believe that Abdullah ibn Saba may have actually been several figures, semi-legendary or legendary. Others, such as Israel Friedlander, Sabatino Moscati, and Sunni historians affirm his existence. His Jewish origin has also been contested. Some modern historians assert that Saif ibn Umar fabricated the episode about the killing of Uthman to exonerate the people of Medina from participation in the caliph's murder, and the movement to support Ali as a successor to Muhammad did not exist in the time of Uthman. With the exception of Taha Hussein, most modern Sunni writers affirm the existence of Ibn Saba. In a similar vein, Shia writers deny Ibn Saba's historical existence to rid Shi'ism of the accusation by Sunni writers that Shi'ism is originally based on Judaic doctrines. Modern views. Historicity. According to Sunni and Shia sources, Abdullah ibn Saba was a Yemenite Jewish convert to Islam. M.G.S. Hodgson doubts that Ibn Saba was a Jew, and suggests that Ibn Saba and Ibn al-Sawada should be considered as two separate individuals. According to Leon Catani, Ibn Saba in origin was a purely political supporter of Ali, around whom later generations imagined a religious conspiracy like that of the Abbasids. Taha Hussein and Ali al-Wardi maintain that Ibn Saba was the creation of Umayyad propaganda. However, Israel Friedlander concludes that Ibn Saba and the Saba'iyyah did, in fact, exist. His work has also been attested to by Sabatino Moscati. Linda de Lauanea Armush also accepts Saif's accounts and the role of the Saba'iyyah at the Battle of the Camel. Concerning Ibn Saba religious beliefs, particularly that of the Saba'iyyah, W.F. Tucker noted that they are more complete and better recorded in sources devoted to heresiography. Mati Musa points out that the Saba'iyyah as a Gulit sect did in fact exist, noting that the views have been seriously considered by both Sunni and Shia heresiographers. Hodgson states that there are contradictions in what religious views is ascribed to him and his followers, but we can assume that he was a founder or a hero of one or more sects called Saba'iyyah, which exalted the position of Ali. Ancestry. M.G.S. Hodgson concludes that he was most likely not a Jew. W.F. Tucker suggests that it was possible that the attribution of Jewish ancestry to Ibn Saba on his parental side and imputation of black descent on his mother's side was fabricated to discredit his credentials as a Muslim Arab and thus stigmatize all ideas associated with him. Bernard Lewis states that modern critical scholarship cast doubt on his Jewishness. Bernard Lewis, citing the example of Ibn Saba, states that there is tendency in Islamic sources to attribute subversive and extremist doctrines to Jewish origins, conspiracy or instigation. G. Levi de la Vida also rejects his Jewish origin and maintains that Ibn Saba was an Arab. However, according to Hartwig Hirschfeld, Abdullah ibn Saba was a Jew from Yemen who embraced Islam. Israel Friedlander suggested that he may have been a son of an Ethiopian Falasha woman, which explains why he was called Ibn al-Sawda. W.F. Tucker, after examining the different arguments, concludes that, whatever is the case regarding his ethnic identity, it is quite probable that Ibn Saba was a Yemenite, and that he came from a Jewish milieu. Gulat. Traditionally, Abdullah ibn Saba is considered as the first of the Gulat. He may have been the first to deny that Ali had died and predicted his return, which was considered one form of Gulu. Also, the notion of the absence of an imam seemed to have appeared first among the Gulat. Heinz Harm records him as a representative of a Gulat elite group from the city of Seleucia who came to see Ali in Kufa. When Ibn Saba proclaimed divinity, then Ali denied this angrily and exiled him back to Seleucia. Heinz Harm adds that Islamic writers such as Azari and Maqalat Baghdadi and Farrakh have said that Ibn Saba was the first person who idolized Ali ibn Abi Talib. He preached that Ali was God. After Ali's death, he is said to maintain this idea that a devil in Ali's appearance had been murdered, and Ali had ascended to heaven, and that his occultation was imminent. Examining his roles in Uthman's killing and emergence of Shia according to M.G.S. Hodgson, Shura sources than Tabari and Saif ibn Umar seem to exclude Ibn Saba from playing any major role in the political events that led to Uthman's killing. Wilfred Madelung, after reviewing the accounts of Saif ibn Umar on the alleged role of Abdullah ibn Saba in the rebellion against Uthman and emergence of Shia, asserts few if any modern historians would accept Saif's legend of Ibn Saba. Taha Hussein asserts that the fabrication of Ibn Saba was done by the enemies of the Shia, that the insertion of a Jewish element would discredit the Shia. He noted that the absence of any record of Ibn Saba being present at the Battle of Siffin suggests that Ibn Saba is a fictitious person. Israel Friedlander, Julius Wellhausen, and most particularly Leon Catani, assert that Saif fabricated the episode about killing of Uthman to exonerate the people of Medina from participation in the caliph's murder, and, as Friedlander adds, finding a scapegoat for the troubles surrounding Uthman and any complicity in the strife resulting in the death of third caliph. Tucker asserts that although it may have been the case, there is no concrete evidence supporting this theory. They note that sources older than al-Tabari are silent on Ibn Saba and his role in the agitation against Uthman. They aver that the movement for supporting Ali as heir and testamentary trustee of the Prophet did not exist in the time of Uthman, as Ibn Saba had alleged. Therefore they refused to accept the authenticity of Ibn Saba's claim that Ali was the heir of Prophet. Catani noted that a religious conspiracy may have been created around the person of Ibn Saba, even though he may have been just a political supporter of Ali. However, W.F. Tucker notes that the suggestion that Saif is not reliable is no longer sustainable. Tucker and Landau Tasseron point out that although Saif may have been an unscrupulous hadith collector, this should not detract from his general reliability as a transmitter of historical information. Tucker also states that even if Saif's accounts of Ibn Saba was a fabrication, he appears to be only the transmitter of the story and not the ultimate source. He adds that accusations of bias could equally be leveled at other Akbaris contemporary to Saif, including the Shia historian Abu Mikna. Moreover, Fuat Sezgin, Albrecht Noth, and Martin Heinz have also challenged Wellhausen's views and place Saif on an equal footing with other traditionalists. Linda D. Lau and A. R. Armush accept Saif's accounts and the role of the Saba'iyyah at the Battle of the Camel. They point out that traditionalists other than Saif did not give an explanation to why the hostilities broke out after the near settlement. Not only Saif's account is the sole exiting account with an explanation of what happened, it is also logically consistent. Sunni views, according to Tabari, based on traditions collected by Saif ibn Umar. Ibn Saba was a Yemenite Jew who embraced Islam. During the time of Ali ibn Abi Talib, he introduced a number of concepts that later were ascribed to more extreme factions of Shia Islam, or Gulat. According to these traditions, the exaltation of Ali, his divine appointment by the Islamic prophet Muhammad as a successor, the concept of God Ibn return were first formulated and expressed by Ibn Saba and his followers. He and his followers are sometimes said to be the ones who enticed the Egyptians against Uthman on the ground of Ali's special right of succession, and participated in further instigation at later conflicts. Historically, Sunni theologians have not only upheld Ibn Saba's existence, but used evidence from the historical works of the Shia in order to support their claims. In Sunni polemics, Ibn Saba plays the same role of seeking to destroy the message of Islam from within as Paul would play in seeking to deliberately corrupt the early teachings of Jesus. Shia views. In traditional Shia sources, Abdullah ibn Saba is sometimes viewed as an extremist Shia, himself cursed by Ja'far al-Sadiq. Nevertheless, Ibn Saba became the subject of a tradition used by different Shia factions to both attack and defend extreme Shia groups. According to this tradition, and depending on the different interpretations, Ali either burned or exiled him and his followers for declaring Ali as God. Earliest Shia scholars also described Abdullah ibn Saba as a real person. Shia scholars such as Abu Muhammad al-Hasan bin Musa al-Nubakti, Abu Amr bin Abdulaziz al-Kashfi, al-Hasan bin Ali al-Hili, al-Astran Abadi, al-Saduq, and al-Nubakti, gave the stories and narrations of Ibn Saba. Another Shiite scholar named al-Mamikani was found out also confessing the existence of Abdullah ibn Saba. The name of Abdullah ibn Saba figures in the most reliable book of Shia on his Ma'arijal, entitled Rijal-i-Kashfi, and it is related in it from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq that Ibn Saba believed in the divinity of Ali, and ultimately, he was burnt alive at his command. About Abdullah ibn Saba, Rijal-i-Kashfi says, many knowledgeable people have stated that Abdullah ibn Saba was a Jew who had accepted Islam and showed great devotion for Hazrat Ali. As a Jew, he used to exaggerate the personality of Joshua, the son of Nun, and the wazi of Moses. After becoming a Muslim, he began to exalt the personality of Hazrat Ali much beyond the due limit, and he was the first person to declare that it was obligatory to believe in the imamate of Hazrat Ali, and completely dissociated himself from his enemies, and he openly opposed them and denounced them as infidels. Al-Mamkani, from his work Tanqi al-Maqal fi ilm al-Riral, Abdullah ibn Saba, who returned to Kufr and manifested Guluf, exaggerator, cursed one, Amir al-Mu'minin burned him with the fire, and he would worship alien that he is a prophet. From Sa'd bin Abdullah al-Ash'ari al-Qami, who was speaking of the Saba'iyyah. Al-Saba'iyyah are the associates of Abdullah bin Saba, and he is Abdullah bin Wahb al-Rasibi, al-Hamdani, and he was supported in that by Abdullah bin Qurasi and Ibn Aswad, and they are the loftiest of his companions. And the first of what he manifested was revilement upon Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and the companions, and he freed himself from them. From Ibn Abi al-Hadid, another famous Shia scholar, from his work Shah and Ahj al-Balagha, Abdullah bin Saba stood addressing Ali saying, you, and he began repeating it. So Ali said to him, woe be to you, and who am I? Quote, he said, you are Allah. So he ordered that he be captured and a group of people with him upon his view. Nimatullah al-Jazari, another of Shiite famous scholars, from his book Al-Anwar al-Numaniyah, Abdullah bin Saba said to Ali, you are worshipped in truth. So Ali banished him to Al-Madain, and it is said that he was a Jew who accepted Islam, and whilst upon his Judaism he used to say about Joshua bin Nun and about Moses the likes of what he said about Ali. Famous Shia scholar Nabakti writes, it is known as the Saba sect because Abdullah bin Saba was its ringleader. Muhammad Ali al-Muldim, a present-day Shiite, also affirmed the existence of Abdullah bin Saba in his book, Abdullah bin Saba, The Unknown Reality. This book was a refutation of those who denied the existence of Abdullah ibn Saba, giving the excuse of false narrations. Modern Shia historians often cite a number of Sunni scholars who considered Saif ibn Umar as unreliable on matters of prophetic hadith. For example, al-Dhahabi has quoted from the book of Saif in his history, but wrote in al-Mufni fi al-Dhuafa that Saif has two books which have been unanimously abandoned by the scholars. Quote, they point out to a number of prominent Sunni scholars concur regarding his narration of hadith, including al-Hakim, Abu Dawood, al-Suyuti and al-Nisari. However, some modern historians have pointed out that this view of Saif should be limited to his hadith scholarship, and thus it does not detract from his general reliability as a transmitter of historical information.